Hello and welcome to the wonderful world of Wacky Wrath. Yeah, those were all W's. That was a W alliteration there to start you off for the day, and I'm not sure why that started, but this is the Game Out Loud podcast, episode 195. Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Is that it, Rob?
Divided.
That's what we decided that was the proper nomenclature for that. I am Jordan Rusnak, and we also have here Rob Peterson. But you all know that, right? Because he's world famous. I mean, look at that beard. Hey, it's better than my beard, and you have more hair than me now. Look at that! Like I cut all my hair off.
That I am proud of.
Yeah, see,
I have made it almost to 30 without a receding hairline, so that's good.
Oh, you had to take it there. It wasn't because of that. It was.
Oh, sorry.
I lost a bet, but no, you had to leave it there. Ouch! Now you hurt me just right here, Rob.
Well, you walked right into it.
That and other doors. But no, we're here to talk about Deus Ex Mankind Divided. I think that's pretty much all we're going to focus on this week. It's going to be a rather quick episode where we just kind of give you our thoughts on that. It has been out for a week, which I've been enjoying this week. I think Rob said he's actually been hating the game, but I think I'll let him go into how... what was it, Rob? You said that this is a steaming pile of cow dung. I've never seen such a bad game in all my life. Is that what you said, Rob?
I don't know where you're going with this, Jordan. That was a really weird segue. No, I don't fucking hate this game. I actually really like this game, but there are some bad things about it, and we can talk about those if you want. The primary ones being the really weird microtransaction scheme that they've set up, and the kind of on that same note, the weird free-to-play feeling breach mode that I would recommend just skipping completely. That said,
which one's the breach mode?
That is the is my display flashing on?
Yes, it is. There you go. I just realized that all our viewers could see your nice little Skype window inputs, so I went ahead and got rid of that. My apologies there, folks. Okay. I was trying to do it on the slide, I didn't realize that it was also flashing in the setting.
It was freaking me out because earlier my actual monitor was flickering. I was like, "What the fuck? Is it like infected Skype now?"
Oh no! So. Sorry, no, that was me. My apologies, friend. That was not your hardware going out.
Okay, where were we?
Microtransactions, stuff like that.
Yeah. So yeah, it has a really shitty microtransaction. Yeah, just skip it. Just don't even fucking play it, and don't buy any of the crap they're trying to sell you.
What is breach mode?
Breach mode is the secondary game that you can launch into from the window. There's story and breach, and it's stupid.
Okay.
I barely played it, so
is it like Rainbow Six?
You haven't done any of the hacking inside the game yet, have you?
You mean
not the regular hacking, but where you actually like enter the virtual reality world?
No, I have not done that yet. Not yet.
Okay, breach is that. It's kind of like the virtual missions from the old Metal Gear Solid game.
Okay.
But not nearly as cool.
Oh.
So it's weird. I was all excited when they announced it because it's like, oh, more Deus Ex, and I was kind of thinking that's what it would be. But it's just like as soon as you open it up, it's like slamming you with like trying to get you to buy crap. So, and then the other negative thing about this game that's been out there is that the PC port isn't good, but the PC port is good. There were a couple little hangups that have pretty much been fixed. I think the last big remaining issue is a crash in Mission 14 that some people have experienced, and that the fix for that's going out shortly, like in a few hours, I think, or within the next 24 hours. Beyond that, like lots of graphics options. The game runs pretty well as long as you don't turn on MSAA.
Right. And turn on exclusive full screen.
I didn't see that big of a change in frame rate between those.
Oh, I did.
Really?
What do you run? You're running the same graphics card I am, right?
970?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a pretty decent jump between the two when I was running that. Like, it gave me a good jump in frame rate.
Yeah, basically use common sense. Is this your first PC game, people? People are just turning everything all the way up and then going online and complaining that it doesn't run very well. It's like, yeah, idiot. If you just want it to work, buy a PS4. The PC is made so you can go through the options and configure it exactly how you want it and
And
find that
tweak it,
sound.
and
Yeah.
yeah. I'm not gonna
So
lie. I did try to turn everything on and hit go, and it looks amazing when nothing's happening.
right, but the difference is then you didn't go online and write a 9-page Yelp review about how horrible the game was and send a screenshot of your canceled order to the developers. It's like it's just some ridiculous shit and way overblown. Even Polygon had this ridiculous article like, "Oh, the PC version's a hot mess." No, it's not. PC version's fine. I
Uh,
understand some people are having legitimate issues, and that's always going to be the case. But
mhm.
broadly speaking, it's a good port.
I got to point out that what I was saying was a joke earlier. Rob did not say any of those any of those things that I put forward, and nor do either. I think one of us feel that way. Now, me, I didn't really care for Revolution,
Human
uh,
Revolution.
Human Revolution. Yeah. Um, and again, we covered it last week. So if you want to look at that conversation, go check it out last week. But I did come into this one with an open mind, saying, maybe it's better, maybe it's something like, let's see how it is. I've been having a blast. I have put, Steam says I've put like 16 hours into it. I don't think that's the case, because I think I left it
No.
on for a little bit.
Yeah, because at the point you told me that you had finished just the tutorial, I went on your Steam thing and it said you had 11 hours in. So I was like, wow, either Jordan really sucks at this game or he left it running.
Now that being said, so at the beginning of the game, people, if you're going to pick this game up, the small spoiler, not really, the first mission where it says go see this person in the whatever in the bookstore or whatever, do that. Don't skip that one, because I went through and played for like 4 or 5 hours, not being able to upgrade my stuff, earning these points. I'm like, how am I supposed to use this? Like, I go to my AUG menu and it's all flashing and like red and messed up. I'm like, what is going on? And I can't figure out how to progress the game. And I'm running around doing side missions. So I did a whole bunch of side missions that didn't require a whole bunch of stuff. And then I went and got that mission done. I'm like, well, maybe I should go back to this one because it was back in a different area. And so I went back and finished that off. It was the only thing in there I hadn't done. And sure enough, I started the game basically. So I made
So
it.
the whole time you're like, I could have sworn you had like powers and stuff in this game. Like,
Yeah, I could only hack level 1 things. Like, well, no, so I
you had
had,
no OGs,
well, no, I had all the AUGs. So I had
but
the,
none of them work.
yeah, exactly. So I had the jump. Like, I had the passive ones, but like only like the level
Uh,
1 of them. So, like I could hack level 1 things, but I couldn't hack level 2 things. So I had to find all like the physical ways into places to do stuff, and then I just ran into walls that I couldn't get around. By the way, I think, hey, Mr. Dylan Smith, if you're still listening, this is the conversation I was going to have with you earlier. So, if you're gonna flip out at me this time, good luck, because we're on YouTube and you can leave of your own accord. But I think I'm playing this game wrong. I go in and I mean to be quiet. I mean to be stealthy. I want to take everybody out like quietly or not at all. And I started an area like for example, there's a time where you had to go against the police earlier on, and I started that area and I was able to take people out quietly.
the 80s band, right? You
Yes,
gotta take those
yes.
fuckers down a notch.
They're sending out an SOS, and you have to stop that. And it's
Wipe that smug look off Sting's face once and for all.
right. Like I know there's a red light Roxanne joke in there somewhere, but I don't know how to how to tie it in. But so I go and I take out the guy, get the security system down, turn off the alarms, and I start like making a joke out of it. So as I take people out, I start putting them into the security room. So I've got like a room full of like 7 or 8 people that I've taken out quietly, and then I hit the wrong button, and all of a sudden, pardon me there, all of a sudden I'm in this security spot that I've been luring people into, and I hit a wrong button, and all the how you can opaque the security rooms, it just goes clear, and like 2 guys just turn and go, huh? And I look at them and they're like, hmm. And then they just start firing at me. So I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do because I can't get in with my stun gun. So I switch over to my trusty automatic rifle that has a silencer, and I have set to semi-automatic. Because like I still want to be quiet, even though they're firing their guns. I'm like pink, 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 taking them out. Long
But
story short, I end up. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, but this is the beauty of Deus Ex. Like, I give you shit when you play Thief as an action game,
Hmm.
but Deus Ex, that's the whole point. You can play it however you want, and the game will support you. That's what the beauty of it, you know.
Yeah,
So
but
you're not playing it wrong at all.
no. Here's where I find like I'm doing it wrong because I keep wanting to play it like you peer pressure me into playing it, right? Like the way that you and Colin and all these people, like, you're like, oh, you're doing it wrong. Like, I'm trying to play Thief like Thief, right? Like, I'm trying to be quiet and stealthy like I never do. Um, and I wipe everybody out, and then I start exploring, and I always find the route that I was supposed to take. It's like, it's amazing how easy it is to find those routes on the inside, but not when you're on the outside. Like, one of them I had to go like step on a trash can or move something to get up into a vent to then jump up in and then work my way down. Like half the time I come across those things, it's like, oh, there's a gas here, or oh, there's electricity. I'm not like, oh, let me find the root of that. I'm just like, how much life do I have? Have I ogged this all the way out? Okay, run through it, and then I'll eventually make it to the end.
Sorry, I'm adjusting something on the YouTube channel here. So, have you been to the bank yet?
No, but I have been finding a whole bunch of PDAs with bank codes on it, apparently.
Okay, yeah, you'll definitely want to keep track of those. I went to the bank before I found any of those, and the bank mission's incredible. Actually, really, the level design in general in this game, I think, is a lot better than it was in Human Revolution, and is closer to the original game. Like these areas are very large, and Human Revolution, it kind of felt contrived. It was like, here's the obvious stealth path, here's the obvious action path, um, and sometimes you'd get funneled and you didn't really have a choice at all. That just everything would be connected by like one doorway.
Yeah.
This, they've really gone out of their way to make everything more open, give you more options. It's like, no, now there's 4 stealth paths and you can mix them up with the more action oriented paths, or you can talk your way through, or you can bribe your way through. It really, they doubled down on that aspect of it. And this is the best level design I've seen, at least since Dishonored, if not like the old Thief games.
Yeah,
And
I've really been enjoying exploring these levels and trying to find all the hidden areas and the secret paths and the different spots. Unfortunately, I'm doing it in that manner, like I said earlier, instead of being able to suss them out beforehand and use them strategically. Uh, but one thing I do want to point out is the AI seems a little dumb, um, pretty bad. I hid behind a door. AI walks in, turns, and is staring right at me. Does not see me. I'm like, okay, no og needed there. That was pretty funny. In this one spot, I was stuck in it was basically a a vent that made it into 2 different sections of a room. It made into a V, and one of those big juggernaut guys in the exosuits was in there, and he just stood right in front of that vent, like not to a point where he could attack me, not to a point where I would be able to just like destroy him, but I could just run forward, look down, and his head is sitting right there. So I had that. You get this armor-piercing revolver that's rather nice earlier on, and I was just lean out, pink, pink, and then the other guys would start shooting, and I just kind of back up. Like, have you been finding the AI to be rather lackluster?
it's just not, it's not tuned to be hard enough once they start searching for you. They should search harder, and they give up way too easily. It's not. It takes a while for them to give up, but they usually, a lot of times, they won't even come into the room where I caused the disturbance. I'll like trigger an alarm in a room, take the guy out,
Mm-hmm.
and then the guys in the next room over are still searching, but they just searched that room. And the other weird quirk about the AI is that sometimes they won't let you into a place, but if you go around the back way, you can just march out, and that includes the bank, which is, that's, it's just kind of weird. I wish that it was rejiggered a little bit.
There is a individual who is he comes up as a merchant, and if you walk up into his place, he's got a bald patch on his head, and he's like, "Were you followed?" Have you talked to that guy?
I'm sure I have. I did. I can't think of who he is off the top of my head.
Okay, so basically, if you talk to him and he needs some whatever the drug is,
Neuropazine.
neuropazine. Yeah, I was to say naproxen, but no, that's the stuff that I think lets you grow
That's
your
a
hair back.
leave. No,
Yeah.
that's a leave.
Oh, naproxen is a leave.
Hmm.
Anyway, he needs some of that. And if you give him some of that, he's like, "Hey, you should go in my basement. There's some cool stuff in there. And because you get this, you're my friend, and I'm kind of going crazy, but it's fine. Just go look at my cool stuff." And I'm like, "All right, cool. I like cool stuff." And then on the map, the red spot goes away for the restricted area. But I go and there's a split second where you're passing from his establishment into that spot where it's like not it's a no man's land, and it still flashes a little bit with red when you go through it. And so I go downstairs and I'm like, "Oh, okay, there's cool stuff." So I walk, and as I'm walking, I walk through the doorway and I'm like, "Oh, that's interesting." And I walk in and then explode. I was like, "What the fuck?" I look, and the guy's like, "Oh yeah, go look at my cool stuff." But he didn't mention that the whole like wall and ceiling were lined with mines when you walk through the area, and you're supposed to hit the button hidden behind the painting. But I was just like, "Oh yeah, cool stuff." Oh, boom, boom, done. Like I was like, "Oh, that's
Well,
great."
that's just classic AI trolling.
Oh, indeed, and it was great. But so I did that. I was like, okay, reloaded, ran all the way back to him, did the conversation, got the stuff. Da, 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 went downstairs, found the button, hit the button, got all the cool stuff. Went outside, ran out, and because I passed through that spot right as a cop was walking by, the cop just turns around and goes, "Bah, bah, 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 bah," and just blows me like mows me down. Like it's a little weird as far as that goes, but the graphics, man, oh my god! Like there's a bald character in that game where they were showing him in a video. It looks almost realistic until you start seeing his mouth move, but from like here up looks absolutely fantastic. Some of the it has some really good moments as far as their animation stuff goes. It's still a Square Enixy, like as far as they don't seem to be able to make things like their models, like their character models, physically touch stuff very well. Uh,
Yeah, they're a little puppety, and you mentioned the lip sync isn't very good, and
yeah,
none of that bothers me. Like
no,
that's not why I play a Deus Ex game, but it does bear mentioning. I will say though, the art design is really good. I think Prague is a really awesome looking hub, and the density of just stuff there is to look at and see. Every apartment, every space you go into in this game feels unique and handcrafted and is just full of stuff. Like I had to, I didn't turn on the object highlighting, but for the first time ever in one of these games, I turned on the object markers so that I would know when I was looking at stuff that was interactive because so much of it is. And a lot of times, even if you can't pick something up, you can turn on the microwave, you can turn on the stove, you can turn on the washer.
yep,
I love that stuff, and it makes me really feel like I'm in the space. You know, other games throw out the word immersive, but Prague absolutely is immersive. I really feel like I'm in a city.
yeah, I agree with you, but then they have little spots where that breaks, where so you can hit the thing on the spray bottle, and it goes like, and you can move the chair, and you can like interact with all these computers that may or may not have information on them that's worthwhile. Like it feels like a good full world, but then you pick up an object and you have no hand to pick it up with, and then when you throw it, he does like a force push thing to throw it, which kind of takes me out of it, which I thought's kind of
Oh,
funny.
I never
Uh,
noticed that.
yeah, so go pick up just a random object, and whenever you throw it, he goes like, "Huh," to throw it and never actually interacts with it. It's kind of weird, but I'll give it that. Like, just like the fact that I like we don't care about the fact that he can't actually touch a table and have it look real. That's not why we're playing this. And I gotta say that I am really enjoying what's going on here. And from what you've said, I'm just kind of getting into the meat of it. Um, I look forward to getting more points and unlocking more of the new stuff that I haven't unlocked yet. I kind of have been going the safe route with upgrading hacking and capacity and stuff like that to try to make it so I can carry more and access more areas. Now I'm going to start getting into like I want to upgrade my remote hack and I want to do all that. Have you noticed, is there any actual consequence for being overheated or overloaded? Like I've been running around at 150 and there's been no consequence whatsoever.
I haven't had to deal with it at all because I got the part that fixes that super early on.
Oh, what pray tell should I be looking for?
It's in a quest. You talked to me about the quest earlier. I don't want to spoil it for people, but I think it's
Ah,
the room that where you said you turned on an augmentation and you got attacked.
oh yeah, that was a weird one. That was a weird glitch as well for AI. I turned on my eyeglass, my vision, and everyone just started trying to kill me. So
Yeah, I've never.
I should follow that quest line. Okay, sounds good. But I'm having a good time with it. The action feels really good. I like augmenting the weapons.
Yeah, God, there's so much depth in this game. I barely even messed with upgrading the weapons because I'm playing non-lethal, and there's not a whole lot to do to those really. But all
Yes,
that's there. There's a rudimentary but interesting crafting system now where you can make useful items.
multi tools and such.
Yeah, and yeah, the multi tools back
That
from
stuff
Deus Ex One.
that stuff takes way too much though. Like to craft. If you look at how much it costs to do stuff with your items and how much and or with your weapons and how many crafts you find in the world.
You're just not looking hard enough. There's crafting stuff all over the place, but
Or
it's
maybe I just spend it a
there's
lot more than other people. I mean,
it could
I
be.
go everywhere. Like I have been searching every place. Like I don't leave a room until I have found what I look to be everything I can. I don't leave an area until I've gone through and found everything that I can. Like I've got so many hacking software because I like that stuff's everywhere and I never use it.
See, I use it a lot because I'm playing as a hacker, and I don't know. I'm playing on the Gimme Deus Ex difficulty. I don't know if it's harder to hack or not in that mode, but I find even I have my all my hacking augs totally maxed out, and I still trigger alarms in those hacking games all the time. So I'm constantly burning through that software. But I've had kind of the opposite problem, which is that I find it's too easy to collect way more stuff than you need. There's so much money to be found in this game and so many things you can find and sell to earn money. And between that and the crafting system, I never have a shortage of multi-tools. I never have a shortage of batteries or anything like that. So
Oh, I always have a shortage of the things. Maybe I am playing the game wrong, or maybe because you're playing on a harder difficulty, they're rewarding you more for the things that you're doing. That could be too, because I always seem to be short. Like I never have a lot of energy, but then again, all I have is my cloak really right now to take advantage of. That's an active thing. I've been putting all my energy into passive things.
yeah,
Um,
that cloak will eat up quite a bit.
I upgraded it to the next level, so it should be low. Because like I said, I wanted to go stealth. Like I was trying to play nice and stealthy, but it doesn't work a lot of the time, and I end up using my stealth tactically to take out enemies. Um, is there a benefit to silently taking down an enemy instead of killing him with the Q attack?
You get more XP. The downside, the trade-off is that if you do trigger an alarm, they can be woken up. So you're taking more risk, but for more benefit.
So it's just like a stun gun. Same idea.
Yeah, yeah, it's just like using the stun gun
Okay. It doesn't
or
cost
the.
any less energy to kill them or any more energy.
I don't think so. I haven't killed anyone though, so I don't know.
Okay. Neither have I, because I'm just like click, and then he just punches them in the throat, and they fall over. I mean, that's still one thing that does bug me is the cutting away from your point of view to like it almost looks like an FMV sequence when you do those takedowns. I know it's in the same engine. Like I know it's not a pre-rendered cutscene that they've done. Like it's probably just to make sure that they always have a good angle on it and they don't have to line everything up and make everything happen. But it still just gets kind of jarring for me when I come up to a guy and I've got four guys, and all of a sudden I hit the button. Now I'm out of my guy's perspective, and I've actually seen that kind of break a little bit because it doesn't all work 100%. So I stun gunned a guy, so he's got that electricity like almost vest texture going on, and then I ran up and cued the other guy that was near him. So as that guy's shaking and stuff, like Jensen just kind of walks past him briskly and then punches the guy in the throat, grabs him, and then just like hits him again. And it's cut to like showing Jensen doing this, so it's like looking at the back of the guy's head. So I'm seeing the other guy who has now gone like and then fallen over, but the electricity is still floating in the middle of the air. So there's some wacky fun little bugs that go on, but I find them fun and quirky, and I expect them in games like this. I mean, you said it best, Rob. Like who better to try to break a game? Like I always try to do really weird stuff in games to cause these kind of things. Have you come across the objects that will move you across the room, or if you can line them up properly, will actually break the physics of other objects?
Hmm.
So there's a weird glitch that has happened to me several times that I was only able to use once, but now I know this is possible. I can try to remake it happen. If you, I don't know what the trigger is, but if you make contact with like a box or a small light object that you can pick up, if you start moving backwards and it doesn't, like, the collision doesn't break, it will start moving with you, but it will like, physics don't apply anymore. So it will move you back and keep moving you back until you take an action against it. I
Hmm.
actually was like, and I had a heavy box that was hiding a safe, and I went and put myself in it. It just happened to work, and it it pushed me back into the safe, and it didn't have the weight of the safe applied to it anymore. So, or the object that I had to upload or be stronger to move, and it actually moved it out of the way, and I could grab the safe that was there. I've had that happen several times where I stop and I look at something, and all of a sudden my character just starts like moving, and I was like, okay, let's see how long this goes for.
Hmm.
And I look down, there's like a box sitting there shimmying, just and just shimmying across, just pushing me along.
Yeah, I haven't seen that at all. There have been a couple things like weird quirks that I didn't like as much. Like in the first Deus Ex, spoilers for that game. So, like, sorry, you've had 16 years to play it. Um, there's a moment where one of the main bad people, runs into the room you're in and interrupts a conversation you're having. But if you know that's going to happen, you can plant some mines at the entrance where she's supposed to run in, and as she runs past them, she will blow up and die. And the game like responds to that. It knows that you did it, and it accounts for it. Here, I had a similar moment where I went into a secluded room with one other character, had a conversation. In the middle of that conversation, some guys came in, and immediately upon that conversation ending, the three guys shot me and I died. No time to react, no time to do anything, just game over. So I was like, okay. So when I reloaded, I went, well, let's see how Mankind Divided stacks up to the original. And I set a gas mine to knock them out when they'd run into the room.
Mm-hmm.
Disables it and during the cutscene, doesn't work at all.
Oh, lame.
Yeah, so that was a bit of a bummer. The missed opportunity there, but overall, that stuff doesn't really matter. I'm enjoying the core gameplay of this so much. I'm liking the story too. I've heard a lot of criticisms about it, but if you're a hardcore Deus Ex fan, I think there's lots to chew on here. We're getting some peeks at the big conspiracy stuff that comes to a head in the time period of the first game, which is still like 20 years after this game. Um, it has a pretty interesting plot on of its own. That's it's kind of basic thriller stuff, but it's well done. I think a lot of the characters are well written and well acted, and most importantly, they're all part of interesting side quests. Whenever I do a side quest, like this is the Witcher 3 style side quest, not the BioWare style side quest, or not the MMO style side quest.
Yeah,
Like
they're fleshed
this,
out.
it's fleshed out. It has meat to it. There are choices you can make. You're going to spend a few hours on some of these, or more. And like the bank level, holy crap, it's huge.
I haven't got. Is there an actual quest that will take me there, or should I just go there myself?
There are a couple. There's like some mini tasks you can do there, and then there is at least, I think there's one side quest and one optional main quest that take you there. And I haven't done the main quest yet. Someone was telling me about it.
Okay, because I found a whole bunch of PDAs that have like, oh, your like person's this at the bank is this, this, and this. Like, go claim it now. And like, I've got like five or six of those or something like that. Like, probably not. That's probably an exaggeration. But like, I know I've
There's
seen.
no, there's quite a few, and I don't think that's tied to a quest. I think that's just kind of, and it doesn't pop up in your objectives or anything like that. Another thing I love about this game, you just kind of figure out, oh, put two and two together. Here's a bank code. Here's the bank. Let's go rob this place.
Yeah, and
So
you'll see like it'll give you a hint like, oh, if you know the code to it, it'll show you up above the pin pad or whatever, which is
yeah,
rather nice. But it's kind of a cool system for that. Like, I always try to read everything I can, like all the emails, to try to get information and stuff like that. Did you know you get experience from reading the PDAs or the ebooks?
I did not.
Yeah,
I
so
hadn't noticed that.
yeah, read. You don't get it from newspapers, but you do get it from PDAs. So, or not PDAs, sorry. PDAs give you the codes and stuff like that. From the ebooks, pick those up, read them. It's an easy 50 points. Adds up over time. Easy free points. And if you have the points to hack something, go ahead and do it because you always get experience for it too. So, I'm always trying to grind experience out in that game. I do so when you start the game, there's the Russians that you can buy the weapons from. Or no, it's
Hmm.
not Russians. They're I forgot. We're in the
Well, it takes place in Prague, but there's all
Prague.
kinds of different, yeah, lots of different ethnicities in it.
Yeah. No, it's Mikhail, so it could be Russian. I don't know.
There,
But
yeah, there are definitely Russians in Prague here.
so I decided to try to see what would happen when I bought a weapon. I'm like, oh, do I want this weapon? So I was like, okay, closed out, F5'd, bought the weapon, left, upgraded the weapon, like with the stuff I'd had for it, came back in, pop, 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 killed all three of them. And I was like, okay, sweet. Let's see what they had. One guy had like a lot of credits. Like every spot was full with credits. So, but the main guy who I could buy stuff from didn't have jack. So I was like, okay. So I reloaded, waited for one guy to walk out, like took him out, and then threw him over a balcony. Like did the actual takeout, and then threw him over the balcony. So I got the extra points. And then they'll die if you do that. By the way, if you throw them over
Yeah.
the balcony, which is nice because then you don't get the point. You don't lose the points for killing them. So then I walked in and had a gun pointed at the other guy. He saw me. The other guy, the dealer, did not. So I ducked around the corner. He ran out, killed him, and then took all the money, threw his body out, and then I could still buy from the dealer, and I got all the money.
And that's classic, classic Deus Ex, luring them out one at a time. Stretching the gameplay systems just almost until they break, but they don't. That's one of the things I absolutely love about this game. God, oh shit, there was something else I was going to talk about too. Oh, have you gone through the wrong line yet in the subway?
Yes, and they're like, don't do it again. I keep F5ing whenever I go through a subway, and I always get in on the natural side to see if it's going to cause something again.
Yeah, I don't think that it ever really causes a problem. But what I love is that, and I'm sure the developers did this on purpose, the cop that busts you when you get off the train, there you generally will not be any other cops within viewing distance of that. So every time that happens and the cop's like, oh, don't let me catch you doing this again, I knock them the fuck out and then just like drop my mic and walk out of the station. Just boom.
Oh, that's awesome. No,
Yeah.
I've only ever had them stop me once.
Yeah,
For doing
that's my little piece of mental role playing I do for Adam Jensen. Like he's not putting up with any of this bullshit.
That's awesome. That's fantastic, man. This, yeah, I don't know about the story. Like, I'm enjoying it enough. Like, it's like enough for me to play the game and play, but I don't think it's anything really, really amazing so far. But I did just get to that new area, which looked really, really cool from the intro that I just got to it. So I am looking forward to playing that now, because I've been kind of like in that just the rundown area, the more normal area where it's just everyone's walking around and there's businesses and all that. I can't wait to get into this kind of like technologist area where everyone has augs. And is this basically where they've like put a lot of people?
Yeah, it's just basically like an internment camp for people with augmentations. And from what I understand of the game lore, Prague is kind of like the world leader in this. It's not like every city you go to is the same way. Prague is kind of the social experiment. Like they're seeing how far they can push putting people with augmentations away. Because obviously, for people who don't know, in Human Revolution, some events happened that caused anyone who had augmented limbs, robotic prosthetics, superpowers, any type of transhumanist upgrades, there was a switch flipped and they lost their minds and attacked people and killed millions of people. So ever since then, people have treated them really suspiciously. And so, yeah, like the game kind of deals with that setup. And Golem City, yeah, that's what it's called, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty fucked up place. But so cool. Such
Yeah.
a well done environment. So many little nooks and crannies to poke your head into and so much stuff to see there.
I look forward to checking it out. Like, I think it'll be a good time. I've just been having a good time with this game. I played it until about 4 a.m. yesterday, and then I just went to sleep because I knew I had to get up and play some more when I before the podcast. So,
Right.
it's been a good one. It's been catching me. The inventory management's kind of nice that you can rotate things. Could you do that in the last one?
I think so. Yeah, the inventory is pretty similar.
Yeah, I know you couldn't do that in the original game. So rotation is nice. Fit this in here. Yes, I can store this gun vertically. It's okay. But yeah, I'm having a really good time with it. I'm glad to hear you are too. Ryan, I was gonna try to get him on. You said you were gonna try to get him on. Unfortunately, he decided to ignore us. Mr. Brawl,
He's playing right now,
is he? Is he really?
which yeah, that's a hell of a an endorsement right there.
Right? Yeah, he
He'd
ignored us
rather
to
he'd
play the
rather
game
play Mankind Divided than look at our pretty faces. So
or talk about Mankind Divided. So, is there anything else you want to put out there, Rob, as a wrap up?
I think so far I loved Human Revolution. It was probably my favorite game last gen. It's right like between that and Dishonored, and
That's
I
coming
think
out
I like
soon too.
Mankind Divided. Yeah, I know. We're gonna be doing an episode on that for sure.
I know.
I think I like this a little better. I
Really?
really it's like right now my game of the year front runners are this and Doom. We'll see how Mankind Divided ends because it's got a pretty controversial ending, but it's right up there for me right now.
No,
I'm loving it.
No Man's Sky's not in that list.
Ooh, yeah, it's going to be in the discussion for the end of the year for something, but
Were you successful in your
definitely,
refund, by the way?
yes,
I was not.
yeah. Neither was Ryan,
Oh, really?
hmm
Yeah. It's
but I hadn't played nearly as much as you guys, so
yeah, that game, like I feel like where I am is about the point, is the actual 2 hour point for that game, right? Like 2 hours for a normal game, you can figure out if the game has what it's supposed to have and all that. I think in that game, like given the size of it, we should take 2 hours as a ratio and then extend that to like 10 hours for people. Because once you hit about that 10 hour mark, you realize there's nothing in that game. Like, and you don't realize that because you've been building up to stuff to get there.
I think there's so much anger in the PC community, especially about No Man's Sky, that it rubbed off on Mankind Divided. It's like as soon as that Mankind Divided came out and there was any hint of a problem with the game, 6 out of 10 on Steam reviews. Just they got bombarded with thousands of them. I think people were just on edge,
Really?
not thinking clearly. Yeah, yeah. The game has mixed reviews on Steam, which is crazy to me. Usually, I can kind of see like, okay, I see why other people disagree or whatever. Playing this game, it's like, no, this is quality. This is absolutely a high quality game by
Yeah.
pretty much every metric I can think of,
Well,
except
I'll give
lip
them
sync.
lip sync, and I'll give them that some of their like their options don't like. Why would yeah? I don't know. I can't side with people because when you turn on MSAA, it says this is for like greater than 4 gig cards. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like come on now, like
And use your brain. Okay, so you have a GTX 980 and it turned your frame rate to 30 frames per second. I wonder which option did that. Was it the one with the big pop up saying this is a brutally power sucking option, or was it one of the other ones? I just
right. I'd like to
common
hear
sense.
somebody who has a 1080 or 1070 and see how it runs on that. Like that's twice as much as they say.
MSAA, it won't run well at all, but you don't need it. It doesn't even look any better than the temporal anti-aliasing they have. Like, this is the best temporal anti-aliasing I've ever seen.
Okay, Rob, it's that moment. Da 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 da. Rob's video moment. So what the fuck
Yeah.
is the difference between MSAA and what you just explain what you just did there?
MSAA is a very taxing form of anti-aliasing. It is. I'm trying to remember what it stands for. Basically,
Multi-sampling or
yeah, it's rendering the game at a higher resolution and then scaling it down. I believe is how it gets rid of the jaggies because that's what we want. Fewer jaggies. The temporal AA, I don't know exactly how it works. It's temporal,
well,
so
obviously it
it's
goes back in
across
time
frames.
and
Yeah,
it
it
changes
paints
the
out.
daggies. Yes, it's
No,
temporal.
it's doing something across the frames, which has a couple weird little artifacts like faces in background characters can get a little blurry, but other than that, it does a great job. I'm not seeing any jaggies with MSAA turned off. So what they should have done is just not included it, but I think people would have complained about that too to not have the option.
Yeah.
So it's really future proofing. If people when the 1170 and 1180 are out want to
And we get 16
brag about
gigs.
numbers, yeah, then they can turn it on. But
God.
it's not necessary. You're not getting an inferior game experience if you turn it off. So just like stop complaining about it. Jesus Christ.
Do you think it's going to double every time? Do you think like after Pascal we're going to get like 16 gigs and after that we're going to get 32 gigs? Like is it just going to
I don't know. It seems like Nvidia, like this was a big launch. This line of cards is going to last for a while because they'd been working up to this for years,
Yeah.
and people seem pretty happy with them.
Yeah, I mean 8 gigs for 600. So no, it's 700 and 500, right? Yeah.
But it's not just the VRAM. I mean, it's the speed of the card too. You know, it's lots of things, the clock speeds and
8 gigs.
all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, they're very, very powerful cards, and especially for the cost. Like that's the thing. Like you could always get something like that on a Titan, but I think for the cost for 2 of these you can get a Titan. So that's just amazing, and I'm looking forward to that future. But hopefully it's less dystopian than the future that Deus Ex is leading up to.
Hey man, I'll take a dystopia if I get robot arms and invisibility cloaks and all that shit.
Okay, so we're there. How far would you take that? How far would you take your augmentation? Like what part would you draw the line at?
I'd think I'd take it. I'd do the full Adam Jensen. I mean, if it existed and we knew it was safe, yeah. Why wouldn't I want to be a superhuman?
Yeah, but like, what do you lose? Like, just
My weakness.
my what? But like, could Jensen create a kid?
Well, I don't know because the way he was injured when they did that. But if you just installed those biomods yourself, then yeah, sure.
Okay, one, do not install these mods yourself, Rob. I don't care how how much you want to mod, you get.
Hey, that doctor that Jensen meets at the beginning, Kohler, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he totally did it. So
yeah,
just got to know what you're doing.
Right. God.
Trial and error.
So good. I look forward to it. But I think at this point we're going to go ahead and bid everyone goodbye for the week, and we will see you next week, probably more on Monday this time, a little more on schedule. But if you want to reach us in the
more on schedule.
Huh?
I said back on the more on schedule.
The more on schedule, yes. If you want to contact us, you can find us at Game Out Loudcast on Twitter. You can find us at gameoutloudpodcast@gmail.com, or you can find us on www.gameoutloudpodcast.com. Also, you can find us on TuneIn Radio, iTunes, all those great places where you can also rate, review, and subscribe, which, of course, helps us get found by other people. Why'd you go all red there, Rob? What screen did you pull up there? That was like, you were like blushing about the fact that we were on Twitter.
Yeah, that was Twitter.
Oh, that was Twitter. Awesome. Well, guys, thank you very much for having us, and don't have too much fun this week, all right? Say goodbye, Rob.
Bye.
I was hoping for goodbye, Rob.
I know. That's why I denied you.